Alright, so this is going to be my how to pearl, really in-depth tutorial on how to do this, because pearls are like actually really overpowered, and I think I'm pretty good at them, and there's probably going to be some of you guys out there who are already better than me at pearling, in which case you will already know pretty much everything in this video, or even if you do know everything in the video, it's still good to, like, I don't know, get a refresher or really consolidate it as facts and whatnot. So anyways, let's just get on with it. So why you should learn how to pearl: mechanical skills, so dynamic aim and movement, when to pearl, how to take pots, and how to make your pearls like more effective and stuff. So that's gonna be like the tips and tricks and like little things that will help out. Some of those help out just a tiny bit. Some of those are literally like game changing. So yeah, that's just kind of all the stuff that I'm gonna go over. So why should you pearl? So you should use pearls because you can start and stop combos. But if you only pearl for combos, this is a really bad way to use them. If you're just pearling because, oh, opponent's further away and they're turned around, therefore I'm gonna try to get a combo, this is a really bad way of using them. A sword will deal a heart of damage, so around there between 0.5 1.5 hearts, kind of just depends on block hitting, crits and stuff like that, but around a heart of damage. Pots can regen up to 4 HP though, so if you pearl on a pot, that's like 4 hits worth. And generally, if you do manage to hit your opponent off the pot, you're going to get extra hits on top of that. So that's going to be 4 just from the that's going to be like basically 4 hits just from the pot. Plus you're going to get back hits, which you can use to start a combo. So don't use pearls for combos, because every single time that you hit somebody off a pot, you're going to also be able to start a combo like half the time ish, on top of stealing the pot. Whereas if you only pearl for combos, you'll start to notice, as you start to fight better and better players, it will never work ever. You will never get a solid, good, long combo from them. And lastly, you can prevent your opponent from speeding and eating safely. So, just playing aggressive, basically. Your opponent pearls away, and you just pearl after them, and, they don't eat. This is the mechanical skill kind of department. So what I want to talk about is dynamic aim. So dynamic basically just means that there's a lot of change that happens often. Minecraft has a lot of dynamic aspects, specifically in the speed at which you aim, because you're doing 180 flicks and big huge motions to pearl, and then you have to be fairly smooth in order to track the player. Minecraft isn't a hugely dynamic aim-based game, since you don't need to be super smooth. The targets are, they're kind of just like really big, so you don't need a big amount of aim. Although in the kind of entirety of aim, I think that being dynamic is the most important. If you are dynamic, you will experience like far better abilities in your aim, compared to somebody who has, maybe they only have good tracking, or they have really good spatial awareness and can hit those flicks and stuff really well. The jack of all trades, master of none mindset kind of works in some cases, but in this, being able to just be really well-rounded will help you out overall, because unfortunately Minecraft is not one-dimensional and you can't just focus all on one thing. So that's what that is. As for actually being dynamic, there's actually scenarios you can find that are on aim trainers, if you aim train, called dynamic aiming scenarios, which train, you guessed it, dynamic aim. But a better one for this, to be more intensive on tracking and stuff, because it would fit Minecraft better, is just target switching tracking scenarios. Those are pretty good, and if you don't want to work on an aim trainer, which I completely understand, I've had aim labs for 5 years and I still haven't hit triple digit hours. I hate aim training and I rarely do it. And so all my aim pretty much just comes from playing Minecraft. And yeah, just play speed 2 PvP. Try specifically to have really fast flicks and then calm down right as soon as the pearl lands to have smoother aim right afterwards. Focus a lot on that because it's really important. Distancing and strafing, this comes into the movement part. So this is another part of mechanical skill. Being able to like control movement. This falls a little bit under mechanical skill and a little bit in game sense, but if you're able to distance really well, then your pearls will be more effective because your opponent's just not going to be able to stop you. If you get an extra hit in, distancing is basically what just enables you to keep that combo and start it going and keep it going. If you get an extra hit in, 100% of the time, there's always an opportunity to start a combo. Sometimes it's not really realistic for people to get like combos off of every single hit. There's some hits that are just absolutely insanely difficult to have started a combo on, but a lot of the time, if you get an extra hit, you're just going to be able to distance and keep that combo as long as you're in a trade. And strafing, basically just strafe after you throw your pearls because it can sometimes mess up opponent's aim. This doesn't apply to cheaters. Most cheaters, especially if you Q rank, they're using aimbot. It's a really common cheat and it's undetectable, so you don't get banned for it. Me personally fighting this, it doesn't work, strafing. If you try to strafe, you're just gonna get perfectly tracked. But there is an upside to strafing, which is that you can always know where you're going to move and how your opponent is going to change on your screen. So if I move to the right, I know to move my crosshair over to the left because, you know, I've already made the decision to go to the right. So all I have to do is coordinate my hands together and then move my mouse to the left at the same time that I strafe to the right. And for your opponent, you're going to start moving to the right and they're going to need to track that on screen as opposed to just standing there and tracking it. That's why boxing combos look super duper cool, and you see people like Lucy's or Dante or like basically any of those people who just hold long combos. They'll be able to have really smooth aim there, and then as soon as the combo ends, suddenly they're all over the place. It's because the target being predictable helps a ton, and when you strafe yourself, you both will be like moving on each other's screens, but you'll be able to perfectly predict how the opponent moves as long as they're not, you know, strafing as well. So strafing is a huge up for if you're fighting any legit player, and yeah, just try to strafe when you pearl. Makes a pretty big difference in my opinion. So when to pearl, I see a lot of peoples who will have good mechanical skill and be able to pearl pretty good, but then they don't know when to pearl. So this is the more game sensey part of it. You should never pearl for combos. If you're just pearling after somebody's potted, once somebody's potted, don't pearl for the next 4 or 5 hits at least. And even then, wait until you have a good opportunity. You know, when somebody you know is going to pot, don't just go because, oh, they've gone further away, they can pot. Keep in mind how much HP people have and all that. Don't pearl from far away. If you're like more than 5 blocks away, so if you've both gone and potted, you're too far away. Even like you're way too far away. It's gonna be easy to react to, easy to counter, all that. So you shouldn't do that. On someone's back, this is a really bad habit that I see a lot of even really good players have. And the reason why this is starting to be a really bad habit is because as a really good player, even if you pearl on somebody's back, if your pearl is really good, you'll still steal like full HP from the pot. So I could pearl on somebody's back, and even though I'm just chucking a pearl without even moving my cursor or anything and putting no thought into it, the timing and the prediction of how they're going to pot and when they're going to pot is just so good that I get all the pots anyways. This isn't a good idea though, because if you're not right on that, which if you start fighting, like I built that habit by playing unranked against a bunch of people who just, you know, are really predictable, but as soon as I fight somebody who's not predictable, that habit kicks in and it backfires heavily because it just doesn't work at all, and you basically just waste a pearl. So yeah, you also shouldn't have You shouldn't pearl when you have one or less pots in your inventory. This is a tip that I got from somebody else. Train Dog, he's a really good player. He used to click 6, now he clicks 10. Massive difference. He's probably the best like 10 CPS player that I've seen in recent times. And he said that the way that he likes to play is that he likes to continuously really be as fast as he can all the time. And so if he has like one or like no pots in his hotbar, then he won't pearl, and he'll instead take the time to refill and then just save his pearl for later, even if he has a good opportunity. For me personally, I will just play really slowly after I pearl. So if I've got one or less pots, I personally would still pearl, but you need to have really good idea of how to play both really slowly and baity and safe, and how to play really aggro. And don't pearl too close or too far away. You really got to focus on where the pearl lands. If you're pearling too close, you're not going to get a combo. So you might still take the pot, but you're not going to get a really nice combo on them, and usually that can lead easily to getting even more pots. So try to get the combo your best. If you pearl too far away, this is even worse. You'll just not get any pots. You won't start a combo. You'll literally just completely waste a pearl, and then you're gonna have to play safe for a while, because you can't play aggro on pearl cooldown if your opponent isn't on pearl cooldown. They'll just win every time. So this is how to actually take pots. Oh wait, whoops. Oh yeah, this is when you should pearl. To take another person's pots. If they're gonna pot and you know that, go ahead, pearl on that. That's a great time. To get out of combos in certain situations, sometimes if you're getting comboed really hard, you're low on pots in your hotbar, and you gotta take a breather, fix up your inventory, whatever. Basically, straighten up yourself, whatever. And this is especially important when you're fighting people with high ping, because momentum matters a lot more when you're fighting higher ping players. It's easier to keep the momentum of the fight going with higher ping, and harder to also break out of it, so there's the disadvantage. But generally, I find that it's more useful to get out of combos and stuff from higher ping players, because they can get tons of hits on the backs and all that a lot easier than it is on lower ping, and just keep combos going and keep up aggro really well. So pearling out of combos if your opponent's on pearl cooldown and you need to straighten up, and especially not only but especially if they're on high ping, really useful to alleviate aggro. Again, same kind of situation as getting out of combos, especially on high ping. Same things apply. And to speed and eat, which is very similar, but sometimes you might not even be getting aggroed or anything like that. Sometimes you just want to speed and eat, and you can pearl away, and it basically just turns it into a chill fight. For those of you who play no debuff, you know what I mean. You have a chill fight, which is where you let each other eat and speed and stuff. Everything else is fair game. Refilling and getting hits on the back, that's all fair game in a chill fight. But eating and speeding specifically, if you're playing chill, don't do that. Don't hit people and crit people out while they're doing that. In ranked, it's fair game though, and you're allowed to do that. So if you want to treat ranked a little bit more like unranked, if you just pearl away to speed and eat, if your opponent doesn't pearl after you, then it's pretty much an unranked fight, because you get to speed and eat, and your pearl cooldown might be gone for like a couple seconds when you first get back in, but for the most part it's a pretty safe method of doing this. The only thing is that you shouldn't expect to be able to speed and eat, because your opponent might pearl after you, and in that case you just gotta take it at face value, be like, oh, they don't want to play like that, that's fine, whatever, and then you just keep going, because even if you do need to eat or speed or whatever, so does your opponent, unless you've seen them actually eat and get that opportunity in. So yeah, do that. And when you want to aggro, that's another way to pearl. So if I've eaten and then my friend God left. He hasn't eaten yet, and we're playing ranked, so I really want to just win the fight. Or maybe we're playing duels, but we want to work on our aggro. Then what I would do is, because I've already eaten, he hasn't. If he's on pearl cooldown and he takes a step back, I'm gonna pearl in. If he takes a step back and he's not on pearl cooldown, then I'm kind of screwed. I just kind of have to keep up that aggro. But if he pearls away, I'm gonna pearl after him because I've already eaten. So I'm regenning and he's not. I'm in an advantageous position here. I'm gonna be able to keep on hitting him, and he's not gonna be able to eat. Or if he does, then he's gonna take a couple hits for free. So yeah. So yeah, if you want to aggro, then that's also a good time to pearl. Now, how to take pots. Focus on your opponent's health, and I don't mean count how many like block hits you get and crits you get. Just oftentimes count the hits. If you get an extra hit in, then obviously you're probably going to be winning unless your opponent's mad block hitting and critting. If you manage to like, if your opponent gets 2 or 3 hits in, then you're in a bad position, because they can pearl after you or whatever, or wait for you to pot or whatever. So you're in a disadvantageous position, and you should not be trying to take your opponent's pots when you're lower. If you are ever at lower health, do not go in for a pearl. You will quick drop immediately, with very few exceptions. Or you might not quick drop, but you'll get, you'll lose even more health, because you might pearl in and then keep getting hit and then lose even more health and have to panic and whatnot. So here's another bit of a little tip. You should pot often, like really often, to stay high HP, and this includes potting forward. If your opponent doesn't seem like they're gonna turn to pot, or like doesn't seem like they're gonna fake pot or bait in a pot, or if you have a bit of distance, and so if they did turn around and pot really, really fast, you'd still be able to pot forward. You should pot forward. Obviously, doing this too much is a bad habit, but there are a lot of cases where if you pot forward, you can sometimes start even a combo on somebody's back, or get in some extra hits and keep up some aggro. 3. Hold W 2 to 3 hits before the pearl. This is a pretty big help, because your opponent, so for those of you who don't know, if you want to pot really, really properly, you don't just look at the ground and throw it, or turn around and throw it. You want to hold S, then jump back, get hit midair, take a lot of knockback, and then be able to pot, to do a perfectly safe pot. A lot of people, they don't jump in the air sometimes, or they might not hold S perfectly all the time, because generally that's a little overkill, and it's fairly slow. Playing a bit too safe like that can sometimes have negative effects. So what people will do is they'll just press S and go back and pot, and if you're W tapping, then they'll take enough KB to be able to go far back enough to be able to get a pot in without getting hit in the back. If you hold W 2 to 3 hits before they pot, they're going to need to either jump back really, really far because they see that happening, in which case they're in the air, their pots are going to be slower, and if you pearl, then you're going to get a massive, hit them off a double pot or a single pot and get some hits in. And if they don't, then you're going to get back hits and you can start a combo. So, and even if they don't and you pearl, you're still going to be in an advantageous position that way, because they won't be moving far back as fast, so their pots will land slower, and you have more time to kind of take them and get health out of them. So yeah, holding W a little bit before the pearl is something that not everybody does, and you shouldn't do this 100% of the time. It's a little bit too predictable. People will adjust, but doing it pretty often will help your pearls land. 4. Play slowly afterwards. This is what I was talking about before. Train dog, he likes to just not pearl if he's low on stuff at his hotbar. But for me, I will pearl in even if I'm low and even if I'm in a really bad position, then I will play really, really slowly, safely, and conservatively afterwards. So that even if they do pearl back on me, usually I'll only take maybe 1 or 2 hits of extra damage before being able to pot, which is most of the time worth it in my case, because I'll be able to get, you know, more than that when I first pearl, or at least even, and then we'll break even. Playing slowly, playing conservatively afterwards. If your opponent is not on cooldown and they are able to pearl back, this is essential to not getting, you know, your own medicine, basically, not getting fucking crypt across the map, and, you know, rape Siri 20 potted. So yeah, playing slowly afterwards, and playing a little bit less risky, playing really, really safe, and making sure that you're surviving first and foremost and not panicking is important if you're gonna pearl in risky situations and such. 5, don't be predictable. So single pots, don't single pot as soon as you get to 4.5 hearts down. That's something that a lot of people do, and that's predictable. Don't go down to double pots, because you have to pot if you go down to double pots, which means that if your opponent's paying attention, they know that you are 100% guaranteed going to pot without doubt, and if you don't, then you're dead. So don't go that low either. And if you do get that low, don't single pot and then let them keep up the pressure and you're down 4 health and need a pot and a hit anyways. Just double pot. Just do it. Because if you single pot, and a lot of people say, oh well, if you double pot and then they pearl and take the pots, then now you've lost 2 pots. But if you single pot, then they take 1. But they don't realize that if you go turn around, single pot, get hit off of it, you're still at like half a heart of HP. So unless in the time it takes you to go from like 1.5 hearts to 0.5 hearts, if you're confident that you can return around, get the momentum going to pot again, then in that case maybe, but nobody can do that. So shut up and just double pot. Play it safe if you're losing. Come on, guys, please. Yeah. And make lots of different distance occasionally to bait in a pearl. So maybe if you're down 4.5 hearts, you can make tons and tons and tons of distance, but you don't pot. Your opponent might pearl in, you can bait a pearl, and they will sometimes, you know, have to pearl first, and you can pot on that, or you can just, you know, waste one of their pearls and you'll still have your pearl up and you won't be on cooldown. There's just a lot of stuff when you fake pot and your opponent pearls and you make a lot of distance. Even if you get hit 2 or 3 times, they waste a pearl, and as long as you make that back the next pearl that you do by hitting them back even more times or stealing a pot, then it'll be worth it. So try to bait in pearls, even if it does mean getting hit an extra 1 or 2 times, because it'll 100% be worth it, I guarantee you. And how to make pearls more effective. This is something that I wanted to make a lot longer, but I kind of sprinkled all this sort of stuff out throughout the rest of the video anyways. So pearl in the direction that you're strafing. If you're strafing to the right, let me quickly make a little thing here to show what I mean. If you're strafing, let's say this is your opponent, right? If you're strafing to the right and you try to pearl to the left, you're gonna have to pearl out here while your opponent was probably looking right here. And so they're looking right here, and they gotta make an adjustment of about this much to get to you. If you pearl behind them though, and they go up above, this is a really bad way of demonstrating it, but yeah. Basically, they're gonna be going this way, and they're gonna be moving this way, and it's kind of hard to predict. So if you throw a pearl this way, you might hit them, and if you throw it really, really wide, and then they end up being like over here and not over here, then you're gonna be too far away, and the pearl's not gonna work. But if you throw it this way, then if they end up being here, their momentum isn't going this way, which means that they can't change directions and stop you from comboing them or hitting them off the pot as effectively. And if they're here, they're really close, so you can start distancing immediately and get a combo started, as opposed to pointing over here. It has to just basically just do with the fact that these guys are moving here. They can be anywhere in here, just depending on ping, leg, their movement, etc. And it's better to purl over here, the direction that they are not moving in, because that way their momentum will be carrying them this way, and it'll be, you know, harder to hit you rather than purling over here. Which leads me into one more thing that I forgot to put in here. If you know where you're, if you get really good at purling, eventually you'll start to notice that you can purl in the direction, whatever direction, doesn't matter which direction, but whatever direction is opposite of where your opponent is moving, and as long as your purl is really good distance, and you're good at distancing mechanically as well, you'll be able to start combo like 100% of the time. So that's another tip. And last but certainly not least, this is probably one of the most important things, is play fast. If you're playing fast all the time, potting really fast especially, and I don't mean just whack a pot as soon as you can, but take your time with potting, build up speed over time, and pot like smart, you know, don't be predictable, and make sure that you're potting as often as possible and being really high HP. You're just going to be able to keep up a lot of pressure, which is going to do two things. Your opponent will stop focusing on their purl game and be like, holy fuck, he's getting a million hits on my back, and they'll stop thinking as much about how to screw you up and more about how they save themselves. And they won't do too well at that either, because it's pretty hard to think about that as well when they're getting comboed. So it's going to make them have a lot more opportunities that you can purl on, and for you, you're going to be able to not worry as much about their purls, because they're just not going to be doing it as much if they're getting absolutely destroyed. So yeah, playing fast makes a really big difference. Same with purling in the direction that you're strafing, as well as purling in the direction opposite of what your opponent's strafing. Oh yeah, and one more thing again, yeah, if you're both going like this in a circle, and you're having the aim moment, you can just chuck a purl really close, and by the time that it lands, your opponent will have moved over to this spot over here, which means that you're going to have perfect distancing to get a combo. If you practice that, then you're going to never have those funny aim moments where you just circle each other and never hit each other, and it'll be really cool. You'll get a nice combo. It'll be awesome. So do that. Other than that, yeah, that was just how to purl. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, just purl on pots, don't purl on combos, and you know, purl smart. Thanks.